Oh,
yes.
Look at this. Look at these two beauties. Look at these two beauties. How we doing, boys? How we feeling? Huh?
Alive and kicking, Betesh.
Oh, I am still riding the high from a certain Antonio Gates acceptance speech. Oh, and just anytime you can hear someone give an ounce of credit to Norv Turner, which he doesn't fucking deserve. You know, that like, it's like, no, it's like you're tearing up and then you're angry. Oh, it's a range of emotions. And one time he said, Marty, and you don't want to bring that up and be like, yeah, is he still unemployed? But no. Riding the high.
Keep the high going. That's really what matters here. But I got to say, boys, we are here. Better believe it. We got Brigham Avery. We got Geno Bisconte. Geno, you are going to walk us through some epic picks. Now, truly, this is preseason week 1, right? Week 0 is Hall of Fame game. We're talking about Antonio Gates. We had your Chargers front and center. We gave a full win total on all of that.
Isn't week 0 how your wife described you on your second date?
Oh, my God.
Wow. Why am I laughing?
Shots across the bow in segment 1. Fire the cannons at Betesh, Bisconte. That was a Charger shot across the bow.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be on Hollywood Squares. And I think it's moments like this, I'm like, I could have done it. You could have done it.
You could have done it, Gio. You could have done it.
Thanks, Sammy.
Now we know for sure. But here's, okay, so let's explain something. Again, I said it last week. It takes a real a-hole to bet on the preseason when it comes to the NFL. But guess what? You got 3 a-holes right here. So it really is perfect for that. And we walked you through some pretty impressive. We navigated not week 1, week 0, as we said, my new nickname, Agent Week 0. Yeah, exactly. So
I love it.
We navigated a Hall of Fame game with the Chargers and the Lions. And Geno, let's okay, we're gonna work in reverse here. Technically, our bet, the bet that we really said, go, everybody do this one thing. All right. Maybe we told you to run to the window. Trey Lance didn't run anywhere.
It is. Can I say, like, this is why you gamble. Because I tell my brother, and I've said this, my brother is funnier than me because he's just so sarcastic and like, and he's like, what did you say? I'm like, I love, I go through, Trey Lance is going to run, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking and he's on the phone and you find out he never was running, like you said.
Right.
On like the second series, he fumbled a snap and fell on it. And my brother goes, he just ran for -2 yards. And I'm like, it's only going to get better. He never wanted to run. I couldn't have been more wrong.
Look, here's the thing, though. You weren't more wrong because there was a little sprinkle. Remember, now the bet we gave, certainly the bet we wanted everybody on was Trey Lance. But we sprinkled, Geno, something that you were equally confident about. And that was
that went word for word
that game.
That went word for word, like I said, because what did I say? I'm like, these teams in preseason, and especially an early game, which is week -1, and if I had a joke for that, I'd throw it as well, Sammy. But I mean, they're going to draft players that fit into their current scheme, and these are 2 high-powered offenses. And it also tied into something we all agreed about how the Chargers didn't miss a beat. Because when you go tits up in the first round of the playoffs, no one's asking for your offensive and defensive coordinators. So they did Trey Lance, who I'm like, and even this is how you gamble. Even when you're wrong, you're like, I'm not wrong. Trey Lance is wrong. If he didn't stink as a quarterback so bad, he wouldn't be throwing all the time and taking advantage of the mismatch. But the Chargers just did exactly what we said. They put in more pieces, great receivers. There were some great catches by these kids. Am I right? And that running back,
absolutely. And that's a good defense they're playing. That's a talented team they're playing against too. So I don't care if it's week 1. You know what I mean?
So they just to finish up what I'm saying. So like that over was rarely in doubt. That was rarely in doubt. So you knew you had that. And then you could. So while I'm winning my over, I'm just run it. Every play, run it, tuck it in, run it.
Where are you going? But
like, there were times he's just like, he's going to me, I'm not going to run this, Geno. And that's if I can add this, that's the funny part of gambling. If I was sitting there like, I'm such a genius, I might have been getting mad. I'm laughing. I'm like, it's like he's taunting me. At one point, he turned and looked at the camera. He's like, I'm just going to run out of bounds. I'm just going to spike it into there. I was so wrong about that.
That's okay, though, Geno. Look, you may have been wrong about Trey, and frankly, all of us were wrong about Trey. Brig, I want to hear you a little bit on this. I mean, we were wrong about Trey Lance. He looked great. Trey Lance looked incredible. I mean, the Lions still don't know who their backup quarterback is necessarily, and the Lions were very upset they turned the ball over as many times as they did. Again, preseason, we're not going to get carried away here. But the guy, that game was about well, first of all, it was about 4 people. It's about the 4 people getting into the Hall of Fame. That's really what the weekend's about, obviously. This was about Sterling Sharp, Antonio Gates, Jared Allen.
And what a
Eric
class,
Allen.
what a collection. What a fucking collection of guys. It was just amazing, Sammy. So, yes, what a sight to behold that weekend was.
It was absolutely that. So we loved it for what it really provided. But in regards to the game, that's Trey Lance. Could that be what Trey Lance has put down in the NFL? I mean, that is in the conversation for the greatest collection of plays he has as an NFL quarterback right there. We just saw it. So, let's move on. Week 0 of the NFL preseason.
But if I can add one more thing, can I add one more thing to that we'll all agree? And it's worth repeating. This is what we said. He can only look. That's as best as he could have looked. Because as we said, if you look bad in that game, you're terrible. If you hold your own, you haven't shown me anything. But he made every play. He made every play, and he's like, look, I deserve to be on a roster. That's all he proved with that.
So what he won himself, what I want to add is he won another chance. He won a shot at week 2 or at another opportunity to start in a preseason. That's exactly what he did.
And perfectly put. And do we all agree? And he goes in with some momentum. He goes in with a little momentum there. Now he suddenly is looking at Taylor Heineke going like, that job ain't yours. Give me that fucking clipboard.
No, he's absolutely fighting for that. And now let's move on. Okay, so we love doing nothing more than taking a crack at the preseason because why? Because it's football.
I thought you said we love doing nothing more than crack.
Yes. You're the one who lives in Harlem, Bisconte. Now, I will tell you, aren't we just football addicts? Speaking of crack, because we, as a country, as men, we just can't get enough football. The NFL syringe in the arm. We cannot wait to get it. Look what we're doing with week 1. We're talking about it like we talk about the Super Bowl because the NFL is king. It's fucking amazing.
And this
is
what's
crack.
so funny about it.
Yes, it is crack.
And now you have an opportunity over the next 4 days. So we're talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You will have NFL games. Now, some of them are live on NFL Network. And in the past, I don't know if you two know this, in the past, those NFL Network games were not live. They were not
live. I did not know that. Tell us why, Sam.
Why
were they not live?
All of the preseason games showed up. They'd show up later. You'd get the games later. You'd be searching for you'd searching for that Chargers game or Eagles game. Now, locally, you'd get them.
Yeah, no,
Geno,
locally.
Locally, you'd get the local preseason game, yes. But if it's an out-of-market team, you would get that later on NFL Network. But we're getting some games. On Thursday, we're going to see live preseason football. On Saturday, we're going to see live preseason football. And on Sunday, which is excellent. Now, one of those, something we have talked ad nauseum about. We love taking a look at win totals. And Geno, you've walked us through the Chargers. You've walked us through the Cowboys. You've walked us through the Lions now on win totals. And those are some teams that we had that were under the microscope. Cowboys, just because of the Cowboys. And then, of course, we had the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Chargers in that Hall of Fame game. Now, one guy that we've brought up anytime they show up on anyone else's schedule, the Vikings are fascinating right now. And here's why. Last season, you know it, Brig. You watch these games as someone who is clearly defined by that division with the hat you wear as a Bears fan. The Vikings were the greatest surprise in football. I'll say they're even a bigger surprise than what Washington did last season, because at least with Washington, we said, well, okay, yes, if Jaden Daniels is something, they could be a story. They were a better story than we ever expected. But Minnesota wasn't even in the conversation for potentially being a story. I love Cat in the Hat, way to go, way to bring it in. But Minnesota was such a huge.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
We were gone 4 days. She missed.
Sammy, please.
Buddy.
God damn
Such a story, and not only for what they did collectively. Sam Darnold was their quarterback. There was nobody, first of all, and if there was excitement about the quarterback position, there was one preseason game. JJ McCarthy played last preseason against the Raiders.
Yes.
He's injured. He's out of that game. He's done for the season. It's Sam Darnold's job at this point. They obviously, what a run they go on to win 14 games. I mean, it was just a spectacular season. But Darnold's gone, and now we're handing it over to JJ McCarthy. So,
and I just want to add something, Sammy.
Yes.
They
Yes.
took a lot of luster because that 14-game winning streak took a lot from who the big bad Lions, who were predicted to come back strong. Green Bay also had a lot of luster coming into the 2024 season with that win in Dallas coming off of that. So I think Minnesota was a surprise team. And when you hit somebody with a sucker punch or a surprise jab like that, you always get more luster. So I think that really is what gave it, is that those other teams were good. They're supposed to be the weak horse, and they come out shining with 14 wins. So
and there was a moment,
really
by the way, before that Hail Mary game, which unfortunately defined the Bears season, that followed by Thanksgiving, of course. But the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, every team, and the Packers, obviously, every team in that division at one point was a playoff team. There was a moment in time briefly where we said, wow, 4 teams could represent from this division in the postseason. Obviously, the Bears completely fell off the wagon at that point, but it was a possibility. But the Vikings all season long were right there. And of course, the brutal loss to the Lions and then followed by the Rams. They only lost to 2 teams all season. They lost to the Rams and they lost to the Vikings. Unfortunately, they lost to the Vikings twice. I'm sorry, the Rams. Right. The Vikings lost to the Lions twice and they lost to the Rams twice. Of course, that ended their season. So that's really what matters. But, Geno, before we dive into the entire win total, just like we had so much fun looking back at the Kyle Schwarber bet from the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to both of their wins for this year. Without
exactly.
Go on.
I would love to take a sprinkle. The Vikings and JJ
McCarthy.
When you
say sprinkle. The Sammy
we got
sprinkle.
a little Sammy sprinkle.
I don't know why your wife doesn't. Remember you were such a week 0. She said Sammy she gave me a Sammy sprinkle. He was in there trying, but the best that week 0 could pull out was a Sammy sprinkle.
Was a sprinkle. That's all we had was a little sprinkle on it. So
it's like
as we look, Sammy, it's the new Bucky Dent. Sammy fucking sprinkle. Bucky fucking Dent.
He's just walking into the open door.
Aren't you glad I introduced you to this? Aren't you glad I introduced you to this? Aren't you glad you came to my movie set? Aren't you glad you came to my movie set?
Geno, I would never miss an opportunity to walk on a movie set with you and Geno, and I will the rest of my life. I want that red carpet ticket, and I will be there for sure. But Geno, before we jump into 17 regular season games, this is Jade. Look, I want to remind everyone, this isn't. Yes, we're picking a preseason game out of a hat, but we're doing it for a reason. JJ McCarthy has a preseason game, and he's given the reins. And he is now back with a chance in the preseason all over again for everyone to get a look at him. It has been that long. It was last preseason that we saw JJ McCarthy, and here we are again against the Texans. Preseason, week 1, week 0 out of the way. And Geno, what do we think now? Is there something? Are we ready to take a look at JJ McCarthy? Are we ready to take a look at this? Texans-Vikings, by the way, this is Saturday. That's the only thing you're not seeing there. Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, NFL Network. Everyone gets a chance to see JJ McCarthy all over again against the Texans in the preseason. Geno, is there anything we like regarding JJ? The game, you're looking here at the spread and the money line and the total, and that's all fine. But from a JJ standpoint, what do you like? Tell people where to go with JJ McCarthy with this preseason game so we can come back next week and show everybody how brilliantly correct we were or absolutely wrong.
Here's what I will walk you through it, and I will lead you to a bet that I like in the overall game. But here you go. Okay. It is incredible. Like what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. You can go through each one and what they're facing. This is JJ McCarthy, and I'm asking, not telling. Last year, I'm looking at it right now, completed 11 of 17 passes for 180 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick in their preseason opener before he reported knee soreness. Now, remember, this is last year when he's backing up Darnold, and he's like, I am going to try and win this job. I'm coming off a national championship. I'm full of nothing but piss and vinegar. To quote Grandpa, at first I was just filled with vinegar. But my point is... And they're great. At first, I was just filled with the least I could do is nothing, but this is close. But now, flash forward a year later, and okay, job's yours. So now he's like, well, job's mine. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do, and the universe loves the word not. Oh my God. All I have to do is not get hurt. And and their head coach is like, it's like, look, O'Connor's like, look, you're going to play. And I honestly think it's like he only wants him in to take a couple hits. I mean it. To remember what it's like to have a guy breathing down your neck and not to be fucking scared. To sit there and hand the ball off a couple times and get the feel of that ball. But I don't think he's going to be in very long. So whatever the passing yardage is, I'm going to give you 2 winning bets, okay? Whatever the passing yardage is, take the under because The only way he's going to go over is whatever it is if he hits a bomb because they want to take a flyer to check his timing. But we even talked about this. You saw it in the article. He's really going to be focused on the what are they called? The scrimmages practice. But
basically, yeah, they have pads on. So these are real scrimmages now. They're having even joint practices, etc. So O'Connell basically admitted he has seen enough out of him, and he's not necessarily counting on this game to give him what he needs on tape.
Right. And that's we all know game speed is something different than practice speed, even with your own team. So it's going to see with I'm very worried for his physical well-being, kind of like mine on prom night. Geno, please start.
And by the way, one other thing, one other thing to back you up, Geno, in regards to one big play, at least we know Jefferson won't be playing. So no Justin Jefferson.
Great point.
No, so that,
no blanket, no
exactly.
blankie, Gene Wilder. No, my boy.
But on top of that, Sam Darnold, like this is what we're talking about. We'll get to this with it. Like Sam Darnold went in and lost in the opening round of the playoffs because that was the system more than him.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that was pushed, that was, he was shuttled between New York and Carolina, and he was just happy to be in a place with great coaching. And they're like, here's what you need to do. Don't turn the ball over. Don't do this. Yeah. Our defense will do the job. And that's what they're giving JJ. But I'm not sold on JJ. But I am sold on the Vikes defense. I am sold on DeMeco Ryans over in Houston. And I'm sold on people bringing in, let's see the defense. Let's keep it tight. That's what these two teams are looking at. Because they're settled on their QBs. I mean, Stroud, they know who they have on offense, okay? These are two teams where they're going to be interviewing defensive players, and I love the under. Daddy loves the under.
Yeah. And let's remind everyone again, Geno, you were big on the over in the Hall of Fame game. Yes. And that hit beautifully, and you thought this is going to be an exhibition. The Chargers are actually trying to figure something out on offense, and you were just counting on the idea the Lions have had a spectacular offense, and they also are trying to show that they can replace their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, so they're going to want to do something offensively. But even in them giving the ball to the Chargers, that helped bring in the over, and so now you like the under based on what we see out of these two teams defensively. Right. So that under is there.
Did anyone else hear that? I heard this from my brother. JJ had an awful camp. Like, I'll check with my buddies. I heard he had an awful camp, and my brother reminded me of that. Just something to think about. I'd love to hear differently because no one is rooting against JJ McCarthy. No. Okay, do you have a soul? Like we love the kid, rooting for him, but what the hell did he do for them to be predicted for double-digit wins? That's called a segue. What did he do? Yeah. Talk to me, Sammy.
All right, so let's do this now. So the preseason, that's cute, and we have something to talk about next week in regards to Geno being right or wrong. But this is really about what we think about the Vikings for the entirety of the season. And the win-loss over-under there, you can see it at 9.5, which, by the way, 9.5. Now, remember, I mean, getting to 10 wins, which tells you that's a playoff team.
10-7, baby.
10 wins is a playoff team and 9 wins isn't. That's about as definitive as you can be in this league. 10 wins on a 17-game schedule is going to get you in. 9 wins, you're battling it out, and you're probably on the outside of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also think Vegas is like, look, I know I've been looking at it so long, I'm dead inside, but Vegas is like, they still play to the, I don't want to say the novice, but it's like, well, they won 14 games last year. They only have to win 10. Yeah. They have to win 10, okay? And, and if you saw this schedule, who are they beating? And by the way, listen to your boy Colin Cowherd. I know he listens to you. He must be listening to your show because today he's talking about Dallas, and I believe it was a direct quote between three of them. It's like, he's like, they're fine up into the bye, and then find me a win. I believe we said, find me a win. He also says he tips 10% at breakfast. He opened his show with that, which explains why he has such a problem. He has no problem with them starving kids in Gaza because never mind. But my point is, to Juju, I mean, 10%, and I love him because he's so genuine. He's like I'm starting to think I shouldn't have opened with this because it's like I'll tip 30% at dinner. Hot plates, it's like 2 trips, and I love Colin. I do. He's not cheap, but it's like he's like my wife is like, did you just 10%? And he's like, the more he talked, the more he's like, I should not have opened my show with this.
That's amazing. That's
so
amazing.
genuine.
No, Collins is a beauty, and that is just another example of that. And I love that you were so on top of it, Geno. But now let's do one of Colin's favorite games, which we came up with a few years ago when I was there with him, which was Colin reads your schedule. That's what we used to call it. And that's essentially what we're doing here. This is the Vikings schedule. You're either trying to find 10 wins here, or you're trying to find 8 losses. That's pretty much what you want to do for this bet. You're either looking for 8 losses here, or you're looking for 10 wins, and that'll give you your bet. It's 9.5. You're over or you're under that. Geno, I'm going to get out of the way. Brig, before Geno goes into this, I just want to say, is there anything about this schedule that stands out to you, Brig? You have an eye on the Vikings all season long, because as a fan in that division, as a Bears fan, you want the Vikings to be losing essentially every week. Is there anything about this schedule that stands out to you, Brig?
They got the worst combination of division opponents. That's what stands out. Not just the division they play in. You can't do anything about that. But the fact that they have to play the Packers, the Seahawks, the Commanders, the Cowboys, 4 straight weeks. That NFC East is always a beast. It is always a beast when it needs to be. I'm talking about January. And I just think he's essentially a rookie quarterback. How is he not a rookie quarterback? So how the hell can they have over 9.5 wins? Geno, do your thing. But I just wanted to throw that in there. So that beast of the East is the schedule is just nasty.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's give him one to start. Let's give him, because I got to tell you, the only quarterback I'm less sold on than JJ in that division is your boy Caleb.
It's Caleb.
It's your boy Caleb.
Right now, no reason to believe. Really, there's probably more reason technically to believe in JJ at the moment for what you haven't seen than what you have seen out of Caleb.
Yes, and
that's not true, Betesh, but I love how you tip the scale. Please go ahead.
Well, then let me ask you this. Do you think Caleb Williams isn't sitting there right now looking at the Vikings defense and all he hears in his head is ba 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 da 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 da?
Yeah, no, he's terrified. He is terrified.
Yeah.
But I just think he's not better than JJ. He had 5 wins last year. He had a win against Green Bay in the last game of the season. So that undeniably defines it. Please go ahead. I don't want to
Hold
make
on. I got to Google something. Hold on. Turns out they're not arm wrestling. The game won't be decided by those two guys arm wrestling or a battle of wits. Turns out they're gonna have to play against each other's defense, and you've got the Vikings defense, which gave a guy by the name of Sam Darnold, who's in Seattle, and he's going to be playing like he's those two things, darn and old, versus I believe the Bears defense, who I believe paid more attention to the sideline on that Hail Mary pass that led to their demise. So I'm afraid if you haven't seen it yet, and they won't all take this long, because I won't have to shit on Brig for every pick, but I'll try to.
You get one more chance, Bisconte. There'll be one more. Please, we got to wrap. Keep going.
I'm taking the Vikes in week 1. What's that, Sammy?
Right.
That's well, if you're taking the Vikes week 1, it's looking like a great start for your bet. You're holding that ticket and you're telling your wife. Remember, Geno, our favorite part about a futures bet is showing it to your wife.
Oh yeah,
and saying,
like,
honey, I made an investment. I made an investment for us.
You're the Mike Greenberg moment right there, Sammy. Yeah. It was awesome. So Mike Greenberg, him along, make it go. Let's go, Betesh. I love how you're conducting.
But I took the under, so it's like, forget about this bet. But what happens on Sunday night when the Falcons beat them up? Because I really do like the Falcons this year.
Yeah.
They're growing on me. And I mean, it's a battle of, watch this. Now we can pretend, hold on. Oh, these two are arm wrestling. You got Penix Jr. versus JJ McCarthy. Penix Jr., who old school, like went from one school to the next, from Indiana to Washington, played great, got drafted by Kirk Cousins. And did you hear what he said? Not a goddamn thing. Sat there, waited his turn, ready to go. And it's a Sunday night game. And again, this is Penix saying, I'm used to playing under the lights. And don't get me wrong, so is JJ. But the job's handed to him, and he's coming off a win. Maybe that'll give him some confidence. But I love the Falcons here. I'm taking the Falcons here.
Great, 1-1. All right, rip through it here. Let's go, Geno. I love this. Right. I love this. Let's pile up the wins or the losses. 1-1. We're trying to get to 9.5.
All right. Look, again, I'm going to give them the Bengals. I'm giving you the Bengals. You can take the Bengals. Wow. Okay. I'll give you the Bengals here just because I don't trust them early. Okay. And
Smart.
I'm giving the Bengals here for the bettors. So they're like, because if they lose to the Bengals, then there's a good chance of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is another way of I'm looking at it. I really like the Steelers in this. I don't know if you know, their quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, kind of familiar with the Vikings. Yeah. Kind of like, and am I wrong? This guy, if he's going to be like, if I win one game all year, if I win one game all year. I'm shoving it up their ass. I don't even care about the Packers because they're going to retire my number. Fuck the Vikings.
All
Fuck
right.
the Vikings. Yeah, welcome to the NFL, kid. The Browns. Okay, we'll give you the Browns. All right. But now you're 3-2 going into the bye. I show the wife the ticket.
Yeah,
We're going to get to keep this money. Okay. Right. Eagles, Chargers, Lions. Hold on. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right.
Wow. Okay.
And just like that, we're 3-5. And I know we're talking about by the way, I love that they get to play the Browns in English because I'll tell you, if they had to play. I mean, I love it. Watch this. I love that they get to play the Steelers in real life. That's what the kids say. And then the Browns in English, because I'll tell you, I've been to Cleveland, and that's the only place people still speak English. All right. So now we're 3-5 going into week 10. The Ravens, stop it. Stop it. The Bears, you ready for this? I'll give them a split on the Bears. I like you. Ready for this? Packers? No. Packers, we talked about the Packers. Again, if we're talking about quarterbacks, we're talking about all the confidence in friggin' the second year on his the return on Jordan Love's knee, so we give it to the Packers. My brother is watching. He knows the Seahawks are going to probably lose to them. I'm sorry, Seahawks aren't that good. You got the Commanders. That's
wait, time out. I want to
kick their ass, dude.
So all right, keep track here. What are we at right now? So that was 3-5, 3-6, 3-7. All right, and now Packers, you're saying 3-8.
Yes.
Seahawks. So you're at 3-9 with a loss to Seattle. The only thing I want to remind everybody
they're gonna beat Seattle.
So 4-8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I love about that game is, and I just want to circle it for everybody there, week 13. Obviously, this has the potential of being JJ and Sam Darnold playing against each other, which is pretty spectacular.
Which
right?
is
reunited, and
which is nothing.
Right.
But it's adorable.
I love how you make that story.
Like
you're building the story, Sammy.
But it is adorable that especially if Minnesota at that point has 3 wins. By the way, Geno, people are going to be.
Right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So look, Minnesota's got 3 wins coming off the season they had with Darnold in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to be massive for JJ to come out, and maybe you're right. So at that point, he knows that's the game. I got to be better than this guy this week. My job's on the line. Boom.
You might want to circle that on your calendar, but
so 4-8 there after week 13. All right, here we go.
They're gonna lose to they're gonna beat the Seahawks. They're gonna lose to the Commanders.
4-9.
Come on. They're going to beat I'll give them a win against the Cowboys.
Love it.
I'll give them a win.
Yeah, 5-9.
I'll give them a win against the Giants. And you're ready? I'll even give them a split against one of I'll give them a split against the Lion or the Packers, but not a split against
7-10. 7-10. 7-10. 7-10.
Fucking brilliant, because that's a rookie quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be pissing his pants on opening day. JJ, you're not ready.
I don't think so. But I mean, and don't get me wrong, like even if I'm off on 2, and I can be, it's like I just don't see it. And I like this JJ kid, but it's like this is all on the Vikings defense, and they can only do so much. That's all. And again, this is we love being wrong. Like, trust me. When what's his name? When Trey Lance had that great game, I wasn't like, man, you fuck. I laughed and I said, good for you, kid. You did exactly what you did. And it's what we talked about. And if JJ McCarthy is, 10-4 down, like looking at me, I'd be like, I love eating my ass,
And by the way, and it's also
we love watching you do it, Geno, on your OnlyFans page.
Thank you very much.
It's really flexible, very, very flexible.
All right, Sammy. Yeah.
Okay, so simply wanted to say this. Remember, Geno's got the under on Vikings wins for this season, 9.5, which, by the way, yes, looks like a cliff when you see it in regards to them winning 14 the year before, but that's it. All right, so we know who the quarterback is in Minnesota, JJ McCarthy. He's handed the reins. Darnold's out of town. The most unpredictable quarterback situation is, if it's not right now, it will be in 2 weeks. Trust me, because once we see both of these guys play in the preseason. Anthony Richardson absolutely had the job in Indianapolis. And by the way, had a playoff roster around him and could not get out of his own way. They're bringing Joe Flacco in. It was an absolute catastrophe for Anthony Richardson last season. And that organization's got to be saying, we are either all in or all out with this guy. And they're going to find out. And really strangely, the guy that they brought in to light a fire under him is Daniel Jones. But the reality is, we don't know who is going to start week 1 for this team. And the preseason, of all the things the preseason is going to show us, maybe the most definitively, it's who is going to start week 1 for the Colts. But the beauty of having you two here is we're going to force an opinion out of it right now. Now, we're going to start with you on this one, Geno, because I want to show everybody what the odds are. And we want you to get way out ahead of it. We've got 3 games to see these guys in the preseason. But before that happens, we want you to be an absolute lunatic, but look into your crystal ball and tell us, who do we think? What is actually going to happen here? Are we actually going to see this? Are we actually going to see this where Daniel Jones is the starter for the Colts week 1? Could that, and will that happen? Who will be the quarterback week 1 for these Colts?
The quarterback for week 1, I'm going to tell you, will be Anthony Richardson. It will be, and I'll tell you why. Unless Daniel Jones has far and away an incredible camp compared to Richardson, and I don't even think he'll be given the opportunity to have an incredible camp because of Richardson. And you know why? Because of Richardson. They're sick of him, and they just want to skip this. This is the beauty of, I don't know how it took the NFL this long to have the mobsters that run it legalize gambling, because this is literally just, hey, we'll throw this out based on this story and make a little money on both sides. But if I'm the Colts head coach, I'm doing, and I'm trying to think who a couple weeks ago said, take the Colts as that outside playoff team, because down the stretch, Daniel Jones will come in to be the starter, and that will happen when they give up on Anthony Richardson. And what better way to give up on Anthony Richardson than to light a fire under his ass during training camp by maybe saying it's neck and neck, and then having odds come out where somebody says, make sure you put a little sprinkle, not to be confused with prom night for you, Betesh, on Anthony Richardson, and then you make a little money there. But here's the thing. Richardson, this is literally them saying, all right, you won, Anthony. You have our full, and whenever someone says they have your full confidence in the NFL, you got one foot out the door. But they're like, we got our full, and he's going to take every snap like this, and Daniel Jones is going to come in with no pressure. But Daniel Jones wants it, and he will come in halfway through the season, and they're going to go to the playoffs. This is them saying to Richardson, look, this is your last chance. We all know what this is. And whenever a story leaks, oh, he's got our full confidence, 3 weeks later, that guy's usually fired, or that guy is usually benched.
I just want to add to, it's all about size sample. I watched that play against Houston. His biggest mistake was just tapping himself on the helmet and saying he was tired. He should have said,
I've never seen anything like that.
I'm winded. Say, I got the wind knocked out of me. You can make that, Geno, you make that excuse all the time when you're driving to the cops, right? I'm winded.
I do.
That's what you say. I mean, so he had a moment of ignorant foolishness is what he did. I think he's a talented guy. I would say Riley Leonard, the Irish fan of me is going to say Riley Leonard's the starter, but I don't know how you could go against Richardson. He had one foolish moment. It's not a big enough size sample to judge the guy. Let him go. Let's see what happens. But yes, light a fire too, Jim Morrison.
By the way, if I may just be terribly, I don't even want to say racist or stereotypical, and I don't mean this in a mean way.
Never you.
No, they'll all agree. Like when I look at that bet, they're like, you said it. Every drunk Irishman will be like, let's put some money on our boy Riley Leonard. We get $8,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like, please, if there was a guy named, Geno Valentino, I'd have a glass of wine. Be like,
of course.
Throw a couple lira on that mother. But am I crazy? Just a bunch of junk. Hey, Ma, Riley Leonard. I mean, am I crazy?
Get in here, Riley. Brig,
Like
I'm glad.
I can't believe Gino Vanelli wasn't Gino Vanelli, that great French-Canadian singer, right?
Gino Vanelli, not the rookie. But am I wrong? Like that's the moment of time.
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Brig brought it up, because it's on this list, and there we are throwing the names around, and we're not giving Riley Leonard his credit. And like we say here at Better Believe It, honey, I made an investment plus 8,000, honey. It's an investment. Look what the return on this could be. This is incredible.
Riley Leonard,
what an opportunity!
That's the next Tebow.
This is money we're throwing down. And yes, he's a big boy, Anthony. He knows what he did. He's a big boy, Anthony. It's a big boy, Anthony. He knows what he did. He knows what he said. It
insults him a little bit.
Anthony, he's a big boy. He knows what he said. Anthony. So, yes, Anthony Richardson's going to have to prove something here in this preseason. All right, so there we go. We're looking at Anthony Richardson. Again, it's not necessarily going to win you that much, but you got to be right to win any money at all. So there you go, Gino. Even though it's the favorite technically, but by the way, he's nobody's favorite right now. Yeah. Anthony Richardson is nobody's favorite in Indianapolis right now. Who in Indianapolis,
you're right, is saying we're NFL fans are nuts. And again, we love and if he if he came back and had a great year, and I just don't see it. And again, I'd love to. They'd be like, it's like they wouldn't even be like, my man. They'd be like, that's fucking right. You fucking better. What the fuck was that? I've never seen a fucking brain fart like that.
Time to earn it. Time to earn yourself, right?
Fine.
Prove yourself. Prove yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow, Balboa. There is no tomorrow, right?
It's like my vindictive Aunt Olga that never forgave my Uncle Frank for eating another woman's risotto. 20 years later, still bringing it up. Fucking the guy will throw 7 touchdowns in week 15. Just don't take yourself out of the game on the next play.
Right.
Just don't take yourself out. We're up 38-2.
Yep.
Just don't be a pussy. What?
That's when the horrors come in. She gives him, and that's when the horrors come in, right?
Yeah,
I ate another woman's risotto 20 years ago, and she's never let me. That's when the risotto comes in.
Tommy boy, I like her.
Yes.
I like his idea.
I've been told to wrap it up. Kevin's gonna kick me off. What do you got, Sammy? What's up? Please, you're in charge, but I'm trying.
All right, this is what we're doing. Here. The biggest story in maybe all of sports, and not surprising because it involves the Cowboys, but the biggest story in sports is the fact that Micah Parsons is unsigned in Dallas. He is, you would say, on either side of the ball, he's their best player. I was looking at a list of current players that are most likely to be Hall of Famers for each franchise, and you'd say right now Micah Parsons is that player on the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb's had a nice run here, but in regards to Hall of Fame, I think Micah's got the clearest path towards that. And he is unsigned at the moment, and not only is he unsigned, he's demanding a trade. But look, and Brig, I want to come to you first on this.
Yeah.
Okay, Geno, there's a serious opportunity to make money here, but I want to come to you on this, Brig. Micah's unsigned. The world is responding to this as if he's just not with the team. But where do you stand on this? I mean, I know how you feel about Jerry Jones, but right now, with Micah sitting out here, I know how it looks, but how are you feeling about this?
Betesh, timing is everything, and the NFL just has the timing. I tell you, those NFL acceptance speeches for the Hall of Fame are brilliantly planned, whether they're planned or not. So we have a full audience of seeing them, and everything that happens in training camp, whether it's just baseball, the NFL knows how to take the headlines. They have a great. So this happens all the fucking time, you guys. There's some disgruntled bitch that wants to sit out, be lazy, hang out at the Spearmint Rhino. You know what I mean? And Micah, I'm not calling him out, but this happens all the time. This happened to the Cowboys 32 years ago in 1993. Emmitt Smith sat out.
Ruined my prom. It ruined my prom, Sammy.
Against the newly crowned champion Cowboys. They started 0-2. And then they got a guy named Vlasic in to start a game with him on the sideline.
He
came back, they won a championship.
Is he talking to you right now?
Anyways.
Was he?
But Gino, let's remind everybody also.
So that's happened before. I don't think it's going to.
I have a crippling addiction to alcohol and gambling. Right. Oh, okay. Right. So I don't know how they forgot that. I don't know.
To your point, 1993, the Cowboys did start 0-2. And remember that's a holdout. I mean that is not camp.
Right.
Holding out in the regular season, which very rarely happens.
Yes. Anymore.
But also, the Cowboys, and you'll see this comparison, when the Bengals undoubtedly start 0-2 again this season, everyone's going to say, well, remember in 93, the Cowboys started 0-2, they won the Super Bowl, of course. No. So it is possible, but if I'm with you, Brig. I don't see.
This is all noise. It's all noise.
It's all noise, and it's going to be okay in the end. But in regards to an actual real bet here, let's take a look at this, because we have an opportunity to place Micah on another team for the moment. Before this all gets settled down and we forget about the fact that he's holding out. Here's what's beautiful about this. Is there an investment to be made here? Again, as we call it, is there an investment? Hey, hon, we made an investment. Look at this.
Yeah.
All the Eagles have to do is sign some guy named Micah Parsons. All right. Is and could any of this happen, Brig? If you've got $100 that you're ready to set on fire or put on something here, how do you see it?
I don't touch it. I think he's staying with the Cowboys. I would just keep that in my pocket right now because I know how this thing goes, and I would love to see him as a Bear. I would put that on the Bears if I had that money, but I would not. I think the smart money is keeping it in your damn pocket because this happens all the time, and then they're just happy to be at home and play for their team. So I think this is white noise. It's not going anywhere. Not to be racial, the white noise.
I love it. No, I love it. Now, Gino, look, how do you see it? You've already made us so much money, right? I mean, we have so much money to play with now. So
I love when a guy like Brig or anyone says smart money. Like I used to do a show called In Hot Water with a guy, Aaron Berg, and another story, like, the guy never gambled in his life, right? Because we would say something like this, and I agree with Brig, right? Like he's not going anywhere. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's like we would make like a 3-way parlay on the WNBA, and my buddy Aaron, who like he's just old school ground, he would go, "That doesn't sound like a smart bet." Because could you imagine if he ever said, well, that sounds like a smart bet. That sounds like a good way.
And that's the last thing you want to hear, by the way, right?
He was so like one time.
That's a trustworthy whore. I'll tell you.
One time he's doing a gig, and I love him. He's doing a show.
Aaron Berg. This is Aaron Berg. Betesh.
Yeah, he's doing a show in AC. He's doing a show in AC, and he's bored. Will like go down to the sports book. He's like, "What should I bet?" And I'll never forget. Long story short, Lakers are playing the Magic, and he's like, "How do I bet?" I go, "All right." He's like, he wants money. I'm like, "Well, do a parlay." He's like, "All right, who should I bet?" I said, pick a word, Magic or Lakers. So he goes, "Give me the Lakers, whatever." And I go, and the over/under was 150 or something, or 213, whatever. And I go, pick a number between 215 and 210, and he picks 210. I'm like, so you are going to go and say you want to parlay on the Magic to the under? And he goes, so I tell the bookie I want a magical parlay, and I tell him.
Fucking perfect.
Sam, I said, me, Garrett, and Steve, the producer, I'm like, we will give you $300 if you go to that window and honestly tell the guy you want a magical parlay, because I can't imagine what he would say. Who doesn't? Don't we all?
Yes.
Anyway, this is the beauty of gambling, and my point is simply this. Can you let's just go down the list one notch. The Eagles, can I bring up a guy by the name of Saquon Barkley? Do you think that even Jerry Jones, who might be senile, or as my father would say, 1 foot in the grave, the other on a banana peel, it's like they'll never give him to the Eagles. They'll never, and they won't give him to the Giants. There's no way you trade him, and because even Jerry Jones knows that Micah Parsons, he's better on their bench than he is on any other team, because if they have to face that team, or if he's just on that team and does well, that's one more kick in the dick. And it's like, look, we're fine with him not playing, and he'll play. I agree with Brick. We're fine with him not playing, but there's no team that wants to do it. And then you look at a team like the Bears, the Jets, and the Panthers, same thing. Hey, Ma, take the Riley Leonard money and put it on the Seahawks. Why would the Seahawks take them when they don't know what the hell they're doing right now on either side of the ball?
Well, I love what you said about the Eagles, and the idea, imagine the Eagles could get a division rival's greatest offensive player, maybe in their history, to come over.
And their defense. That's the payback is a bitch trade. That's what that is. Payback is a bitch with Philadelphia, right? With Kelly Green.
That would be hilarious. But that obviously unlikely. So you like him sticking with Dallas, and that's how you see it. Micah will be a Cowboy. We'll leave it at that. All right. So
what do you think? They're not going anywhere.
What do you think, Betesh, before we get the suicide thing? What do you think?
So I'm the one, frankly, I'm with you, Brig. I like to look at these things a little measured. It's our job in the moment to get excited about this. It's our job to say, oh my God, could you imagine the Cowboys won't sign Micah Parsons? One thing the Cowboys love to do with their players is throw money at them. The Cowboys are going to pay for Micah Parsons. They're just trying to figure out how to make the sentence look historic. He's about to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and that's what we're going to say, and that's what the headline is going to read. So trust us.
Even sounded like Jerry Jones, Betesh.
Exactly. That's all. That's what it's going to be. All right. So now I just want to explain something to everybody here. And Brig, this is a fun one because now for week
I fucking love this. This betting thing is great. I can't wait to bet some fillings and shit, or my trust fund cash.
This is a bet, by the way, before anyone had a bookie or gambling was legal anywhere. Geno and I were throwing money at something that was a hilarious chase through the entire season. And again, hey, hon, I made us an investment. I put $100 in a suicide pool. That sounds dangerous. No. It's not dangerous at all. No. So the suicide pool is simple. You throw $100 in and you pick one team each week that's guaranteed to win.
No line, right? Betesh, there's no line.
No line.
Straight up.
Just win the game.
Yes.
Just win
for the end of the world, motherfucker.
Yes. Now, the only catch is, in most suicide leagues, traditionally, you are not allowed to choose the same team twice. So the strategy, because again, right? In other words, to have taken New England in the day or Kansas City almost every week, right? Like that would be a sound strategy, but you can't do that. Now, the fun thing to do in this case, though,
I want to take the 72 Dolphins and 72. Can we get a time machine and do that?
Yeah, let's
get on with the start.
Back to the Future 2. Yes, exactly. Yes. So what we're going to do is we want to look at the week 1 schedule. And I would love for Geno to let us know, is there one that we can look at right now that we want to say, if we're thinking about that suicide pool for week 1, is there a game on the schedule already that we love that we love. Now, by the way, I want to remind everyone, there's a lot of people like rules, and I'll tell you after I hear from this. So Brig, you say you're fired up and ready to go on one of these. I want to just take a look at the schedule as it stands right now. Here's all the games for week 1. We're not that far away, by the way. We are not that far away from that Thursday night opener with the Eagles and the Cowboys. But is there a game on this schedule for week 1? And remember, week 1 in the suicide pool is always a little difficult because we don't exactly know. You don't exactly. One team year in and year out is not the exact same team. So this week 1 is where you lose so many people in the suicide pool, because the way the suicide pool works, of course, is you lose and that team is out. That investment, that $100 is gone. You lose once and it's done for. Okay. So, Geno, try to save our $100 at least until week 2. What do you think, Brig? You said you loved one. So before we go to Geno, Brig, I'll let you pick one. Is there one on here that's screaming at you?
Absolutely. I know it's the first week. You can't recreate game speed, but I cannot get over the image of Jaden Daniels in D.C. lighting up Motown on the road in the playoffs. I don't like the G-Man. I think Washington goes and takes that. You cannot bet against D.C. and Jaden Daniels in week 1. He's got something to prove. That is my suicide pick for week 1. I hope I pick a good one. Geno.
I love it. Geno, what do you got?
I will preface with I am notoriously bad at suicide pools. Notoriously bad. Like, I remember the first one I did, I picked the Cowboys over the Texans in the Texans' inaugural game. And anyone who knows football know that the Texans won that game. And I think that might have been the best I've ever done. I will say. And another thing is, like, another people like, wow, look at this game. I'm taking the whoever that, like, here's what you do not, if you're like, even I know, don't take the biggest line. Very rarely is that the smart bet. They're always like, oh, this line is screaming, take the Eagles. Gambling lines don't scream. The only lines that scream are lines of cocaine, and they scream, what are you waiting for? I'm right here.
Is that you?
But I am willing to take the Bengals, who notoriously start out bad. I don't know if you know this. The Browns just signed another quarterback.
Tyler Huntley.
Because I'm trying to think who said week 1, put your money on who to be the starter. The only guy that's healthy, Joe Flacco. And let me tell you, that bet just got cemented.
All right.
I would say you're looking pretty good.
Who do you like, Sammy?
I want to
I'm taking the Bengals. Okay. I'm taking the Bengals.
So I love it.
I got DC.
So before we get out of here, let's remind everybody a couple of things. So when it comes to the Bengals week 1 in a suicide pool, let's look back. It's going to take us a while to last season when everybody week 1. By the way, so the suicide pool that I was in last year, I can tell you 50%. That's a big number. 50% knocked out week 1. Bengals hosting the Patriots. And here's why. I want to explain. A lot of people live by these rules when it comes to suicide pool. The rules of a suicide pool, usually when you're trying to survive week in and week out, you could stay away from these things as long as possible. Stay away from road teams and stay away from divisional matchups. The Bengals were hosting the Patriots to start the season in 2024, and they lost that game at home inexplicably. Now, at the time, they said Burrow probably wasn't all the way healthy, but going into that game, it was, we got Burrow back. We don't want to start slow. We learned our lesson the previous year in starting slow. Here we go. And New England came in and shocked them. So it does happen. But, Geno, even for that fact, I do like the theory of, is it really going to happen again? The only problem is you went divisional, and how about this? I'm going to turn the clock again. Guess what happened week 1 in 2023? The Browns beat the Bengals.
Motherfucker. What did I say? Notoriously bad. Like, I even said when you gave us, like, we might have to pull one thing, I'm like, don't pull the suicide pick, because I have to let them know, full disclosure, how bad I am at this.
It's so funny.
That means you're a great gambler, Geno, because this is the kind of thing that a jag-off like me, this is a fresh green, Brig the greenhorn comes and wins this every fucking time, right? Because
it actually means I'm not even good at this. That's how bad
No. What it means is, honestly, I will say this much. Many people will tell you, though, that in some ways, this feels to people not exactly like gambling, because there are a lot of fringe fringe people that participate. This is
I love
almost
it.
the equivalent to a fantasy football team. The suicide pool is really for people who don't normally and traditionally spend money betting on sports. This is one of those, it seems like, oh, this will be fun all season. Yeah, except when the Bengals lose to the Patriots week 1 and you're done. Yeah, that was fun. That lasted 15 minutes.
Exactly.
The early slate on Sunday, right? The early slate on Sunday, week 1, and you're out of your suicide pool.
Sammy,
right?
it's literally like you explain it to your wife or your girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds fun," and you're like, "Yeah," and then you lose week 1, and she's like, "The next week
No,
too."
no.
Hey, who do you have in that fun little pool
Tuesday.
you're doing?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Can
I don't
I
have
pick-
anybody.
I want to pick the team this week on Tuesday. Right on Tuesday. Who are we going
Right.
to pick this week? Yeah, about that.
Right. Is your mother-in-law going to stay another week? Is she really here to stay?
So that's
Jesus.
look.
Pick
Those are
me.
great stories.
Week
So
2, pick me for killing myself in my suicide.
I only
Right.
want to point
Yes.
out this. So before we go back and recap and get out of here, I just want to point out, according to quote my rules, which aren't my rules, I had many friends tell me how to do this, and the quote smart money is on this. But
Right.
that would eliminate a number of these games. So the games to look at, if you took the rule of don't take a road team and don't take a divisional game, that means again you're looking at Patriots and Raiders there, but you would be taking that game's in New England. So again,
I
you
would
could
take
look
the
at
Patriots.
right?
I'm really
Yeah.
big on the Patriots this year. Well,
So that would be
a lot
one
of
to look
people
at.
are, a lot of people.
Again,
Yeah.
we just talked about the Colts have no idea who their quarterback is. So Dolphins at Colts you would want to be on the Colts there. But again, who feels great about that right now? Nobody's interested really on either side of the ball with that one. Then you've got Titans and Broncos. Now that one actually, that looks like one that you're going to have a majority of people on, right? You got a playoff team for the year before, and you've got the rookie number one pick at quarterback in Tennessee playing in a team that notoriously is outstanding on defense. So that looks like one to circle potentially is that Titans Broncos game. Another one that is not divisional. And you'd want to take the home team, but Ravens Bills. I mean, is that the Ravens?
Balls.
I
Balls. You got balls to
Yes,
touch that
yes.
game.
Big Stones. The Ravens season ended against the
Bills in the
Right,
playoffs.
so-
Yes,
yeah,
they got
exactly. So-
payback on their mind. So
Yes.
later, you're gonna have to explain it because it sounds like none of these bets make sense, Sam. I need remedial on this
It's,
later on.
I will tell you.
Hopefully
I will
we
tell you.
can
And
have
then
a
again,
Cliff Notes session of this. at
and
some
the
point.
Aaron Rodgers Bowl, right? You got Steelers at Jets, but again, you'd want to be on the Jets side of that. And who's betting on the Jets for anything all season whatsoever, unless it's an under? So again, you'd want to follow the Jets all season. For the other team, not for the Jets. So that would tell you there. Cardinals and Saints, I don't think you know enough really about either team. And the Saints, who wants to take the Saints for any reason, for anything, early in the
Ever.
Kellen Moore era?
Ever,
right?
unless for a paper
Exactly.
bag convention. All right.
That's it. So there's very few games on this that jump out at you. Again, the Texans and Rams, tough game. You taking the Rams at home with the Texans. So this is brutal. This is why it's so difficult to pick this. And again, Panthers Jaguars. I mean, okay, that would be amazing. By the way, I would pay to watch that fight. A Panther and a Jaguar. I think that's a great fight. You know, I mean, that's right. Absolutely.
That's from Cheers.
A Panther and a Jaguar.
Obviously, a bear would beat a lion.
Love it. Love it.
All right, so boys, let's recap this real quick and tell everybody how to make. Again, you're watching Better Believe It because you want to find out. Should I take this $100 and set it on fire, or should I follow Geno? Should I follow Geno straight to the window? Should I make this bet? And
To the
here's
wall.
what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's very simply this. All right. All we want to do with this money, JJ McCarthy. We're going under. Whatever the passing yards are, you're going to find it. We think 50. It's going to be around 50 because he's likely not even playing the entire first quarter. And as Geno said, unless he's making a huge pass down the field, this is just never going to happen. They want to get a look at him, and they want to get him the hell out of there healthy.
Jefferson's not in there. What's he sprinting for anyway?
Right,
Love it.
yeah.
Exactly. All right, Vikings, we like the under. That's the under. So again, take a screenshot of this, but then remember that OU means over or under. You can't take both. So you circle the little U there for the one by JJ McCarthy and circle the little U there by the Vikings for regular season wins. Under passing yards in this Houston preseason game for JJ McCarthy. Under the 9.5 regular season win for the Vikings. Micah, don't even bother. You can either make the bet.
He's staying right the fuck there.
He's staying there. You can get some money on Anthony Richardson to be the starter week 1 for the Colts. Take it. And if you're right now, if you want to circle something for the suicide pool week 1, the Bengals aren't going to let it happen again.
Wow.
The Bengals are not going to let it happen again.
I don't even notice. You're right.
The Bengals will actually win
Yeah.
they're going to win in September. Everybody,
Terrible,
the Bengals
right?
are going to win.
And I'll tell you why. Here's something. We're going to go out on this. I will tell you why. It's going to be the Lonnie Anderson game. The blind from WKRP in Cincinnati. That's why, but Bisconte, that she will be the reality of that. So she's going to lead the Bengals to victory. That will be their battle cry. We'll win it for Lonnie. Win it for Jennifer Marlowe. The fine receptions from WKRP.
Absolutely.
Your business,
Look.
gentlemen.
The only thing I love more than that is the two of you, and please be with us every week. Better believe it. We don't want to make every bet because that's how you lose money. We don't want to chase bets all the time. We have to convince Geno we're only going to do this once a week, and we're going to try to do it under an hour because Geno wants to bet all the time, and we have to say, Geno, trust us.
My booze is getting watered down.
If we hold you, Geno, to 4.5 bets a week, we can make some money, and that's what we are doing. So, Geno, there's your 4.5 Geno bets. Better believe it. We will be right back here next week. Thanks for hanging out with us at Brigham Avery Productions on YouTube. Again, Brigham Avery Productions on YouTube. It's been scrolling at you for 55 minutes here. Like and subscribe. We like and love all of you for being here. Thank you so much, and we will absolutely see you next week.